Welcome, everyone, to War in the Soul City, the chronicle set in Jackson, Mississippi, where a few of our kindred have some errands that they wish to run tonight. Last we left off, Malice and Mercy were headed off towards the morgue to the hospital where a good portion of the Hakata presence in this city, small as the group may be, focus their attention. Dana had gotten word from Spencer Quinn about a Malkavian named Anastasia that may be good for coaxing into finding out what more is going on in the Anarch territories. The night is still fairly young, relatively speaking, as the long nights of the winter get ever longer, the solstice approaching, and the solstice ball, as it were, the yearly event that our kindred of this city of the Camarilla partake in to show gratitude to their prince and perhaps be entertained by the presence of the other kindred of the court, or entertain the court themselves. And in that fashion, we find Malice and Mercy driving in the ambulance that Mercy has procured, heading towards the morgue of one of the hospitals in the area, the Hakata domain. And that is where we find ourselves. It's a quiet night. Only the mortuary staff is present, and in doing all of that, they are kind of looking for a body for Malice. Malice, what exactly are you looking for?
Mm, Primarily, food. Uh, if can find a second, something to play around with when performing rituals,
Mm-hmm.
the body parts and other supplies for ceremonies and rituals. It's required.
So how do you plan to go about this?
Mm, Looking primarily for someone that has been unclaimed,
Hmm.
probably looking at the Potter's Field or probably somebody set to be cremated soon.
Mm-hmm. There's certainly an itinerary for the cremation service, and the the morgue itself, while it doesn't necessarily have a crematorium attached to it, does have one nearby.
So I'm thinking this would be a feeding role. Found appropriate bodies. Probably also
Well,
priest with it.
if you're looking for something to feed upon, that would be a feeding role. But if you're looking for something that would be suitable for your ritual purposes, given what do you know about your rituals, then that would be more of an occult role.
I am looking for both. That's the thing.
Okay. Then yeah, we'll
Uh,
do the two separate roles then.
okay.
If you're looking for food to munch on, then that would be a hunting roll based on the chase of this domain.
Okay, so that is medicine, resolve, and that one. That is 4 successes on the hunting roll.
Okay. You don't know how well stocked this particular domain is. Are you willing to let it leave it there?
Uh, hmm. I can. Yeah, I'll spend a willpower to re-roll the other two.
Okay.
Guess I can't re-roll hunger. That's 3 because I'm only at 1 hunger.
And you're looking primarily for things that you can store at your own location, you're correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That makes that 7.
Okay. Very nice. And
Okay.
so you know the rounds of the security of the morgue. You know the rounds of the security of the hospital attached. You know the rounds of the ins and outs of the different staff. You even potentially know who it is that particularly runs this place. But you find a body fresh enough that you feel that you would get sufficient feeding from it. And how
Alright.
and you have the equipment necessary for concealing and stowing away these bits and bobs that you have from different cadavers. And you successfully collect yourself a cooler of parts, a small cooler of parts.
Uh, now, for ceremony issues. That intelligence or resolve and cult.
I'm going to say wits.
Wits.
Wits,
Okay.
because you are kind of pressed for time given how long you've been here already.
Alright, so. Right. Wits occult.
And any necromancy specialties you have apply here as well.
That's 1. Two, 3, 6, 7 critical.
7 on a crit. Goddamn.
Yeah.
And in that same cooler, you collect what you feel would be appropriate for a given ritual. What ritual are you potentially trying to learn, or is it that one that you already
It,
know?
I already have the bits and stuff that I need for the mindless corpse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to collect what I need for the ritual that I'm trying to get Caterina to teach me. I know what it requires. I don't necessarily have all the parts that Magdalene would have kept.
Okay. And what ritual would that
Things go
be?
bad. It's the ritual for the homuncular servant.
Okay. Okay. Given given how much you're able to piece together and uh, and based on your own kind of intuition and your apparent predilections and prodigy kind of state that many of the Hakata in this area have claimed you to be, you kind of follow your instincts into what is necessary for this ritual. What is going to last long enough? What is going to be suitable for a particular kind of practice specimen? And you collect all of that into the small cooler uh, that is often used for organ transport just
Right.
within the hospital, and collect what you feel is sufficient.
Alright. Sure, there's plenty of dry ice to keep everything till I can get it stored.
Yep. And no one would know the wiser because it's a random thing here, a random thing there. No one would know any different.
Cool, cool.
You're not walking out with a whole body, are you? Or is it just pieces?
It's everything that will fit into the cooler. I was wanting to find a body if I could. If not,
Hmm.
the organs and stuff necessary for myself and Mercy would be all that I need.
Okay. Then you have your bits and pieces for feeding.
Okay.
It would
Oh,
probably amount
perfect.
to 1 dot of food.
Okay. Takes care of that desire.
Are you taking it back to your home?
The house on the river.
Okay.
Emergency, and where Malice keeps all of his ceremonial stuff. I think Rodney would appreciate too much having any of that in a hotel.
Before you're about to leave, however, there is a familiar face to both of you that you see.
Hmm.
Luca Mangini, head of the Hikata clan in Jackson.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. What's... Don't see you two around these parts very much lately.
Yeah. Caterina has me running all over town.
As she is tend to do.
Yeah. Keeps me from getting to work some nights, so.
Hmm.
Keeps him from getting into trouble.
Well, staying out of trouble is important.
Question for you, Mr. Mangini. This solstice butte.
Hmm.
Any opinions or pointers you might have on what we should be looking for?
Well, the tribute is a very Camarilla thing, and as a clan, we've been known to be independent. So,
We're still required to make a tribute, aren't we?
oh, of course, to show gratitude to our prince, to for allowing us to participate in this city. It's it's not an obligation for Hakata, however.
Don Mangini,
Mm,
if I could be so inclined.
of course,
In,
Miss.
in the instance of what will be geared towards Hikata in this participation, we're doing this mostly to help support our position within the coterie.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious as to how you perceive that. How does us helping them help us? And the Hikata as a whole. Where does this fall in line?
Well, our numbers are fairly small compared to other clans in this city, but we do still have a significant part to play. We offer a very much needed service in this city, as I'm sure there are many young kindred who have had a body or two they needed to dispose of. And that's where we come in, as a clan. And by offering that service to this city, Prince Calhoun allows us to be here. Not like the Anarchs, who offer nothing and thus get nothing.
I see that perspective. So we get bodies, we offer bodies. And this tax falls directly for us, in favor for us. Because bodies is what we deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Did we lose Mojo? Oh, there he is.
I suppose that makes a little bit more sense on a business perspective. We handle a business, and it's business tax.
Hmm. That's how I like to see it.
It's a little more enlightening for me.
Seemed totally prudent.
How about you, Malice? Got any other questions?
Yeah. I have no idea what just happened. My tablet died with no warning.
Oh.
So
Mercy
I missed everything after the question.
Mercy just basically did New Blood thing, was asking, like, so if we're independent, why do we participate in this? And Mangini was just like,
Paying homage to the people that we're helping.
Mm-hmm.
we supply bodies, basically. And then Mercy made the connection. Bodies is our business. This is a business.
This is our business.
It's a business transaction. That's really what it all boils down to. And from my understanding, how Prince Calhoun likes to run things.
Is there a particular way or resonance in your choosing of a vessel for tribute?
Well, the tricky part for running a hospital is finding a live suitable subject. and one that is not sickly. So it gets a little tricky sometimes, but we manage, as you're
Considering
well
us
aware of.
as the clan of death, I would say finding a living subject, suitable living subject, would be difficult for most of us.
No, but that's why we have you two. That's why we have Caterina. That's why we have the small number of Hakata amongst us. We only, as a clan, need to bring several vessels, as we might be considered to the prince a coterie it ourselves,
Oh,
given how
so
few our numbers are.
if we bring something, it just adds to your standing with the prince. Did I misunderstand?
We're Hakata. We're
Right.
family. So what you bring is in presentation for the Hakata, no?
Yes. Does that mean we need to bring another body for our coterie? 'Cause we're kind of attached to this group over here.
You're not Camarilla.
No, but we're working with this group over here.
The dig
We're all
team, yes.
independents. Yeah, we are part of Dig Team. Yes.
Officially?
Unofficially.
Then I suppose it's on the dig team themselves to find a suitable specimen themselves.
I think they have that well in hand. Okay. Hmm.
Understanding that taxation itself is just a business transaction. Anything we do for the dig team is just part of the business. You and I, Malice, probably gonna have to figure something out for us.
Yours
Is
won't
that
be
it?
the only tribute based from the Hakata. Let's be clear here.
I never thought it would be. I just don't really know how to go all about this. I may have done some hunting for Magdalene, but she always made the choice, and there was never, to my mind, any rhyme or reason to her choosing or how she chose the vessels.
Her choices in a lot of different areas were beyond some of our understanding. And if I'm quite honest, some of the members of the family are glad that she's gone.
She was a bit of a kooky one.
I think that's an understatement.
Mm.
The understatement of the century, Mercy.
She spent too much time with the Semitic, from my understanding.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that. Is there Semeti in this city? Who even knows?
Eh, you might have more luck finding them in Louisiana.
Well,
That's the rumor.
she did like her voodoo.
Yeah. You never taught me none of it, though.
Well,
Mercy raises an eyebrow at Malice. Kind of surprised, but resets her gaze back to Don Mangini.
do appreciate your time and your candor, sir. Is there anything we can do for you this evening?
What have you learned about the dig team? They're on the front lines of the Anarch territory kind of border. Yes?
Yes. We are expected to stem the tide of anarchs flooding into this city. Being attached to them as we are, uh, they all have their own quirks.
As
Liz
many
seems to
kindred
be
do.
Liz seems to be hyper vigilant. I guess it serves to her time with the war with the Sabbat. Getting rid of the Sabbat influence in this city.
Yes, I've heard of Miss DeAngelis, and it's impressive, the stories.
She's a bit
Yeah.
of a spitfire, that one.
If even half of it's true, yeah. I don't. I always keep a wary eye when she's around. When she's not,
She has a bit of a tendency to put a foot in her mouth.
bit of a hair trigger on that one too.
Well, I
Miss
suppose
Rain
she's still
seems
learning to be a Toreador.
Maybe that's
of the
just a
two.
flavor.
Only time will tell. Miss Rain seems to be one that has the most level head of the two, the most hospitable of the two as well.
That's
Mm.
encouraging to hear.
She seems to be the one that actively wants to help and get stuff done. And then there's Mr. Drummond. An odd one, that duck, but
He's rather
likable
lovely.
duck.
Yeah.
Very
He's
likable. Seems to be really taken with Mercy here. Oh, word of advice: don't ever offer to bring back any of his cats. He takes great offense to that.
Duly noted. That's interesting. You find them to be trustworthy individuals?
trustworthy is relative.
Of course it is.
I don't trust any kindred as far as I can throw them outside of Mercy here. They seem to be honest and forthright, if that is what you're asking.
Well, I'm mostly asking for your definition of trustworthy and whether you've considered them to be individuals to ride high on that scale.
We haven't been around them long, and trust is earned.
Hmm.
Kind of like respect. You have my respect being the Dawn, and well, you pretty much run the Hikata around here. And as such, you have my respect, without a doubt. But for the rest of it, trust, much like respect, is earned. Not normally a demand. You kind of have to give some to get some, if you know what I mean.
That's a very good rule to live by.
I don't know. how well I'm gonna do with this cami thing, seeing as how it's demanded. Not really.
Well,
I guess.
if there's anything that you can trust about any kindred, Anarch, Camarilla, Independent alike, is that they all have their own personal interests. And if you can find out what those are and steer them on their goals, they might assist you in yours. Just some food for thought.
But we kind of have to be like Nos and ferret out secrets and know how to apply them.
I'm sure you'll figure it out. You're a bright kid, Malice.
I'm working on it.
Keep at it. I'm sure you'll figure it out one day.
I guess given enough time, anybody can figure everything out. Maybe not everything, but at least one thing. It's
It's
full
all about
potential.
it's all about lasting that long, right? He kind of gives you a smirk.
Alice kind of chuckles. And yeah, we all should be so lucky.
Well, I have other things to attend to. You two have a great night.
Pleasure as always. Care of yourself.
And you as well. And he moves past you to go about the rest of his business for the day. Or night.
Okay.
Once he's gone, we've got everything loaded up into the ambulance.
Alright.
I look over to Malice. I think, given this information, a little more comprehension as to what we're doing here. Malice, I don't like it. I don't like the path you're going down, but I think maybe we could make an arrangement and proposal to Caterina. Get you some ideas. I'm surprised that you suggested that Magdalene didn't teach you nothing.
I never said she didn't teach me nothing. I said she didn't teach me none of the voodoo that she seemed to be focused on. She did teach me. Your your reactions isn't something I want to be involved in.
No.
There are many forms of necromancy, and given what we both know now, you don't want none of it. Whether you have the spark or not, you won't touch it.
I don't want to touch it none, but I guess what I want to talk to you about is, I don't want you playing with that nun unless it's really warranted, you know? Like, how do I put it? I understand that having that skill set puts you in a position. You're invaluable. The more invaluable you are, the more protected you can be. To me, that's a priority, Malice.
The more protected I am, the more I can extend that to you as well. As far as these gifts and talents, you just heard the dawn. Having eyes in the back of your head is a benefit, whether you're dealing with just anybody in the Hakata or other kindred. The skills I possess are a way of doing so. When you ain't around, gives me at least some kind of warning.
Let's settle cut even with this if you're gonna be going down that path. Promise me you won't be doing no harm. Do you say up or to others? Avoid it.
I can promise you that unlike Magdalene, I will not be going after anybody's family the way she went after ours. I can't promise you I won't be using those talents on anyone, but I'm not using them the way she did. And much like tonight, I'm looking for people that ain't gonna be missed. Maybe somebody out there that misses them, but I'm not using them against their family.
Yeah. I think we should talk to Caterina tonight.
Alright. Now let's get this stuff back out to the house and give Caterina a call. See if I can set up a meet.
I think she's the only other one I know that can manipulate those things. So, if we can ring out an opportunity for you to develop, I do think she would be a good teacher, at least. She may be one of us, but you heard what the Dawn said. She sticks closer to people than not. You gotta be a certain kind of way to do that.
Some monsters hide amongst things they eat. Just hide outside. The view.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt
Alright. Yes, Malice is gonna make a phone call to Caterina.
As it turns out, she is available tonight. And she has a package for you to deliver.
Joy. Alright. I'm in place.
She arranges a time and place in the Hakata territory in which you meet with her in a fairly secluded place. It's fairly empty. It's kind of a large alleyway that kind of is on the edge of the Hakata domain. Small as it is.
Okay. So,
And
in particular person,
sorry, what?
I was forgetting my manners again. I do apologize. Good evening.
Good evening. And you see that she's wearing the traditionally black leather jacket, her long black hair kind of draping over her shoulders. She's very pretty. And she has a It looks like a brown paper bag in her hand. Taped up, kind of discreet looking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, can you remind me, is there a particular person this is supposed to go to?
Nope.
Or just a place you've been having me watch?
It's the place I've been having you watch. It's meant to go in a garbage can in that area.
Is there a particular garbage can, mark or something I'm supposed to leave? Uh, how does this work?
You're when you've put it in there, then you're going to
Uh,
leave just a black X with a marker, spray paint, whatever you want. And
on
that's
the
it.
can, but
On the can itself.
ST,
Mm-hmm.
out of character, I think I missed something.
This is a boon that Malice is paying.
Okay, that's all the context I needed. Thank you.
Yeah. He does this for her, she teaches him a ritual.
mm, mm, well, I have plenty of black markers.
Fantastic. Don't open it.
I wouldn't dream of it.
And she hands you the taped up paper bag. It's kind of hefty. It's got a decent weight to it.
Is there a particular time this must be delivered by?
By end of night.
So before sunrise, gotcha.
Yes, before sunrise.
All right.
Don't get caught. Anarchs have a way of destroying anyone who even remotely has any allegiance to the Camarilla.
Other than living in their territory, we ain't leading to nobody, are we?
That depends.
I mean, we have to pay
Um,
lip service at least to whoever this territory we're in, but beyond that, we're independent. At least that was my
but
understanding.
but that's not how Baron Thresh sees it. He sees the Hakata as that lip service being paid is an allegiance.
What about Prince Calhoun? Is he the same?
I can't say that I've had many interactions with Prince Calhoun in person.
See,
I tend not to get my hands dirty in the grander politics of this city. I know what I need to know in order for me to survive night to night, and that's really how I like it. Anything above that is not something I'm concerned with.
above your pay grade, so to speak.
Well above my pay grade.
Oh, this one. Oh, cool.
Well above your pay grade as well, I'm sure.
If it's above yours, it's gotta be above mine. Alright, is there anything else I need to know?
The Anarchs have been very silent as of late. While they may seem like they have gone to ground at the moment, keep your eyes and ears open. Who knows what may be lurking in the dark? I'm trusting this to go smoothly, but, well,
I will do my best to ensure that it does, but can't foresee all circumstances.
No, of course not.
No.
But
Yes.
don't get caught.
I don't plan on it.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll be in touch.
All right.
Have a wonderful evening now.
And you as well.
Malice will make his way back to the ambulance.
And she makes her way towards her own vehicle.
Any plans you got for the evening?
You ask that as if I ain't coming with.
I asked because I don't want to assume.
And come now, don't be too polite.
I don't know when I've ever been this polite to ever. Asked him, but he don't count. But all right, let's get this to the house and taken care of, because Caterina says if I get caught, there's gonna be shit, and yeah, I've no doubt that Baron Thresh would love to have me as something to hang over her head, and the Dawn wouldn't appreciate that none neither.
Hmm.
So
Madness. This is the arrangement you and Caterina have for these things?
I have to prove to her that I can be of service and use because of who Magdalene was.
There isn't any sort of suspicion. I mean...
There is suspicion. There will always be suspicion because of who I thought I was.
I'm uncomfortable moving any kind of product into Anarch territory.
I don't know what it is. I was told not to look. I'm not gonna look. I'm sure, as you can see, all this hefty taping is to ensure that any kind of tampering and it's left where it was left. So Malice will move to the back, open one of the drawers, looking for a black Sharpie.
Down at the bottom there, there's a little chest. If you could get into that and grab a couple of them masks in there. Don't get caught. Don't get caught.
Yeah, that was repeated 3 times, so I'm sure Caterina meant that to be the most important of her dicks on this. Don't get caught. Also, the first and last thing she said. So, would you move the Sharpies, Mercy?
Nah, I think that should just be right next to the masks there.
Alright. 2 masks and a Sharpie. Alrighty. Well, seeing as how what this has got to go, unfortunately, this mode of transport's gonna stick out like a sore thumb in that area. Think you can pop a few blocks away?
Got anything better, Mr. Surgeon Man?
Uh, at the moment, no, but seeing as how getting caught is the last thing we need, being able for them to identify your mode of transport is the last thing I want. Because if they can identify that, they can find you, and if they find you, more than likely they gonna find me. So,
Well, suppose we'll just call an Uber then.
we don't need an Uber. Like I said, you, you can park a little bit away. We still
Alright.
have access to our car. Oh, ambulance, truck, van. I'm not sure how you classify this as a vehicle.
I'll just roll on up to the nearest clinic. Shouldn't be one too far off.
There's one in just about every neighborhood around here. Even the Flowwood has a few. So,
Okay. So, we make our way to the drop, near the drop location.
Okay.
Find a small clinic, or any sort of like medicinal building nearby.
Okay. In the meantime, we'll come back to that and meet up with Dana. Dana, you know that the coterie that Anastasia is a part of, their meeting place is somewhere downtown in the historic districts of the city.
Well, doesn't that just end up leading all manners? Find a new coterie in old.
You know that her coterie mates are well, ones that have a reputation of their own as neonates of this particular domain. That Colette Crevier and Fernando Steele are members of her coterie. And that she tends to be the eyes and ears. Anastasia.
Well, I'll definitely make it a point to end up going out into their own domain. No problem in that.
And it's beautiful in the historic districts. It's brick pavement, old buildings. You can get lost in just observing the buildings and the architecture of this place for, you assume, decades.
Funny thing, was never a really cared for the historic district beforehand. It's strange what the embrace will do to you. Start to wonder, in a few decades, will people look at the world I inhabit in the same light? I make my way to admire the old stone. Just kind of lose myself in the lit buildings of old architectures reaching out towards the moon. While I do so, I'm looking out for any particular signs. Specifically, maybe this comes down to my anarch roots, but I'm looking for tags. I'm looking for not anything that would end up helping me get in touch with such an individual. I'm not here to feed. Grateful for small things. I'm here to try and end up finding their coterie. I start with the places that are open late night in the historic district, if any. Much like myself and the armory, I figure that somebody has to have a place to put their feet up, especially in their own district.
You see, there's a late night dance club. Well, not really club, more like a studio that seems to be open, and it's nice to look at. It's one of many that are kind of built in this connected buildings kind of architecture, in that it looks like it's the bottom floor of a 3-story kind of connected building, but it looks like it goes deeper into the street from the facade. And looking in, you do see that there are people who are dancing, who are maybe learning a routine, and based on some of the posters outside, it looks like there's a ballet that might be going on later on this month, around the holiday, maybe even into the new year.
I check to make sure that the door's open before I end up doing anything uncouth. But I am interested to get inside, maybe observe some of the dancers. Maybe this is, I don't know. Again, not an art I would have appreciated while I was still breathing. Now, there's just something calming about it. The rhythm. And I appreciate it a lot.
You walk into the door, you hear the recording of an orchestral song, and the dancers are moving to that song, and it definitely isn't something that you would have appreciated before, but it certainly it has a feel to it. And when you watch the dancers, you can tell which ones are a little off their game and which ones are performing perfectly just by watching them. There's a woman who comes up to you, and she's fairly nondescript, and she says, "Can I help you?" She's kind of standing there at the entryway.
I hope you can. I don't take my eyes off the dancers. It's almost like this conversation is more of a distraction from what I really want. I guess I'm looking for an old friend. Haven't seen them in a while. I tend to be a bit of a night owl, and I thought I would end up taking my time to see if I can end up finding them. Haven't been around this neck of the woods in quite some time. Thought she might have taken up dancing.
Well, there's certainly a number of dancers, and it's in the middle of the night, so...
Does the name Hauffman mean anything to you?
Hauffman.
I glance my eyes towards her and read her expression, seeing how she reacts to the name.
She just kind of looks at you. A little blankly.
Anastasia. Yes.
You don't look like any friend. Who are you?
Dana.
Dana. She kind of just looks you up and down for a moment. Right. Right, that Dana. What could you ever want with Miss Hauffman?
Well, when you have questions, Anastasia's the person to go to.
Ever insightful Anastasia. Walk with me.
Yes. And I do so.
And she
Please.
leads you out of the building and towards an alley further up the block.
I keep observing the area. The person seems connected. For all I know, I may be speaking to Anastasia herself. Or maybe a coterie mate. Maybe a ghoul. Either way, I do so like I own these. My eyes are trying to observe anybody who may be nearby. Going so far as to use some of my more supernatural means if needed. But it's mostly there to just try and be sure that everything is going to be safe. I even go so far as to try and remember where various fire escapes are, just in case.
In fact, she's even turning you down an alley where a specific fire escape she pulls the ladder down for and starts to climb up.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I am the one who ended up coming here, so I will end up making my point to follow along.
And she leads you to the roof of the building and kind of just stares out into the night sky for a moment, realizing that there's so much lights going on in this particular area of the city that the stars are blocked out by them. You can faintly see the moon.
You know, I've always been a fan of observing the city from rooftop. It's like you don't need to look up to see the stars because they're all around you.
I kind of find that well, I don't know where I was going with that train of thought. But it's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Rain. Anastasia
Anas-
Hauffman.
You'll have to pardon my methodology, but after all, there are traditions to maintain.
Of course.
And I would presume if I was wrong, then at the very least, one as informed as yourself would probably eventually hear that I was looking for. So, win-win. That and I didn't see any particular markings indicating that that was your pastime. Very beautiful school, I might add.
Something I picked up from my grandsire, I suppose. Great, great grandsire. I don't know.
I suppose not all of us can be that lucky.
Maybe. What can I do for you, Miss Rain? Why have you come to the historic district?
Dana, leave the formalities for court.
Very well.
I am interested in offering a job.
A job.
You came highly recommended by Spencer.
Aha.
Does that worry you?
Not particularly. But also particularly.
It's rather simple. Just to cut to the chase. Always the best part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Things have been quiet. A little too quiet in that regard. Now, my concern is amongst the anarchs. They don't tend to stay quiet. Feels like the calm of a storm. I need to end up putting those worries of mine and various other constituents be laid to rest. It's not requiring you to get your hands dirty, just eyes and ears. After all, we are stewards. This entire city. And one hand washes the other.
That is true.
Given the beauty and grace of the domain, and if those are your little bits of a pastime to create dancers, well, who am I to get in the way of that?
I like to observe more than anything. It's just something fun to watch.
You have very keen eyes, so I'm told.
Yes, that is the rumor, I suppose. And the rumor about the Dick team is that you have members of the Haunts who may or may not be able to do different things. Why do you need me?
It's really quite simple, actually. I like to be informed. I like to know what's going on. And what I hear from one rumor, and I hear another, and then I heard a third, I need confirmation on something. One person telling me a story is never as interesting as two, which is never as interesting as three. The water cooler may be able to figure out the difference between the opinion and the fact, but it needs to be a conversation to end up sending those of Clan of the Hidden. Well, let's just say that might end up leading to a skewed perspective. I need somebody who is able to give me their own opinion. If they match up, fantastic. If they don't, now I have cause for concern. It's a measure twice, cut once method going. And I'm told for you it would be little more than an inconvenience.
Well, spying on anarchs isn't exactly an inconvenience.
I'd like to insight that.
Okay. I hadn't actually completed her character sheet, so give me a sec.
No, just ballpark where you figured the DC is then.
Okay.
Just take the dots, half them. Fantastic way to do it if you don't want to do opposed rolls and still want a good success failure rate.
Yeah. And I hadn't actually completed her character sheet. So, yeah, I think that should be fine. Then
it sounds like she either does it already fairly regularly, or she's speaking in double entendre. If that's the case, I'd like to know.
What you feel like she means by that is that it isn't an it isn't an inconvenience in that it is a taxing task, but it's not something that she is unfamiliar with.
I prefer dealing with experienced hands.
I suppose whatever the hound wants, right? As an extension of our good sheriff.
It's an exchange of a small favor for a small favor. I just need to know what I'm dealing and what might be coming along the horizon. While I can get facts and figures from all manners of sources, I'm told you're insightful. So I'd like not to dismiss anything that's at my disposal.
And there's a reason you don't go yourself.
Why do you think that is?
Can't put my finger on it.
Well, my gifts don't exactly work for subtlety. Not exactly what I would call my family's forte.
No. She looks you up and down again at your very form-fitting attire, showing off every curve. No, you're not subtle at all.
But I can appreciate when it's used.
So what do I get in return?
Minor boon for a minor boon. If I can help you get a small piece of information, you up to date on something else, I don't mind doing so. And I'm a lot closer to the front in that regard, which might be of significant import given the location of the historic district.
I want to meet Kyle Calhoun. Think you can do that for me?
It'll take some work, but it's possible.
Shouldn't be too hard for you, right? She gives you a kind of winning smile.
No, I suppose not. It might take some time, some organization. I will have to ask, though, because obviously I have to abide by tradition. You yourself have never met, and yet you hold prominent place amongst his domain. You and your coterie.
I'm sorry, I missed part of what you said. Whose domain did you think this was?
I was told that you end up taking home in this particular place. I'm going to do intelligence politics. I feel like I misspoke. I was under the impression this is her domain, or her coterie's domain. So I'm going to use intelligence politics. Figure out whose domain am I actually. 3 successes.
Oh, you know it's their domain. I may have misheard you.
Okay.
I was in character trying to play off like I misheard you.
Well, given the fact that you have prominence and a piece of domain responsible for its not only safety, but it to thrive for Calhoun, then you have not met the prince in that. That's where I found it confusing, see. Well, I would expect you to have met him face to face if that was the case.
I've met Prince Calhoun. I haven't met his great-grandchild, or Kyle.
Now that would be trickier. But let never be said that I'm not interested. I'll try and arrange it for you.
Word is he's looking for a coterie. I want my name forward. Our name forward.
And what would I tell him to sell him on the island?
Well,
After all, I have to end up giving the recommendation to an old friend, then I have to be speaking about an old friend.
well, Fernando and Colette have their strong suits. Sharp wit, stealthy, the both of them. The quiet in the background. And the main stage for someone who might be more suited for it.
Let us dance the night away, then. I will consider that your acceptance, then. The job.
Sure.
I'll locate him. All I can promise is I'll give you the opportunity to impress him.
That's all I'm asking for.
I'm going to do another insight.
Okay.
And this one I'm willing to burn blood on.
Okay.
Okay, and I willpower it. That is 7 successes. Okay. I'm trying to ascertain the motive. Kyle Calhoun, that's blood relative to the prince. That's huge, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't seem to be a fit, given what I've heard about this coterie. I'm trying to ascertain, is there another angle I'm not seeing?
She's well composed, but she doesn't seem to be trying to manipulate you, if that's what you're concerned about.
I'm trying to more ascertain why Kyle specific. Why Kyle to end up adding this code? Why do they have the? Why does she have her eyes on him? All people.
You don't know exactly why, but you get the impression that it's personally motivated. That perhaps she's better as the wallflower, and perhaps the rest of her coterie is as well, and that none of them really have the leadership skills that one would need to navigate court. You would know that's an incredibly useful skill to have for a coterie. And possibly some notoriety.
Certainly.
You get the sense that is her motivation.
I will make preparations. Would I be able to find you at the ballet, or
You can often
how
find
would
me
I?
there.
Well, I might have to buy tickets then. Well, you do want to impress him, don't you?
Of course.
And it gives you home field advantage. Besides, all in all, You're far too cute to end up here staying away from the spotlight all the time.
You flatter me.
It'll get you everywhere.
I maybe don't need nearly as much flattery as others.
Maybe not. Maybe not. But it's always a start. And besides, think of all the fun we can have. I would like to add, is there anything else I can help you with, Anastasia?
Just tell me where you want me to be. Where you want me to go.
I need you to go into Anarch Turf. Look around. Try and end up figuring out who's who. I'm going to use my intelligence politics
Mm-hmm.
to give Anastasia some of the best locations I can. Oh, that's terrible.
Derek dice.
Derek dice. Oh, it should. Sorry, I should end up rolling. I'm gonna re-roll 4. One of them would have been my specialty. I can add to it. So
Mm-hmm.
4 dice. There we go. 4 successes. Just because I didn't add my specialty specifically.
Okay.
Because my politics specialty is in anarchs.
Yep. Okay.
But I give them some names, some frequent locations, individuals of note. I go through it actually fairly thoroughly,
Mm-hmm.
just to give them enough grounds to get a jump start, where they can end up going, where they're more likely to find names and what have you.
Okay. And so you pass on the names of the Baron, of Gregory Ballant, of even Cameron, whom you've had interactions with before, that you know is to be a notable anarch. You pass along some of their meeting places that you're aware of, and she kind of gives you a quizzical look.
Now, that's a look that's always fun to get. You didn't think you were the only one who listens in on things, now did you?
Of course not.
So what are you thinking then, Anastasia?
That you have layers like an onion.
And I'm sure you just want to peel off all the layers I have. Get right down to it.
You're intriguing.
Wait until things start to get weird.
Oh, things are already weird. You're involving me.
Let's see what you can do. The more you impress me, the more I have to brag about. And I love bragging. I love letting people know this is what I managed to end up scrounging up. And I love to end up bragging about having some of the best help that you can ask for.
I won't disappoint. And
I hope not.
And she turns to head back towards the fire escape to climb down. See you in a few nights.
Certainly. Dana kind of just hops on the edge and walks along the edge of the building, just kind of observing the night, looking over the historic district. Takes a few hops down, fire escape. She's not really climbing down so much as she's just kind of jump from one railing to the other in a small, just hop motion, like as if she's kind of just jumping out of a truck onto the ground, as though it takes that little effort, despite the fact it's dropping several stories down. But it's a back alley and a hip on a fire escape.
Hmm.
It does so with a supernatural grace.
In fact, you even beat Anastasia down. Show off.
What's the point? Being damned. Can't take advantage.
Take advantage of what?
Take advantage of the little thing.
Suppose.
Eternity's too short to end up this squander.
Quite right. Have a good night, Miss Rain.
And to you, Deja.
And she heads back towards the dance hall.
I take my time as I'm leaving the historic district, just kind of basking in the architecture, the old stone roads, this little slice of urban beauty. Before I start making my way back to the armory, if only on to check up on business, and if nothing is of particular note, then head directly back to the hotel to meet with the Buddy Sticks.
And with that, we're going to take a quick break. So, get some drink, some snack, and we'll be back in a few minutes with more War in the Soul City. So don't go too far.
Yeet!
Welcome back, everyone, to War in the Soul City, Episode 3. The last we left Malice and Mercy, they were headed back to store the cooler of body parts that they had collected for themselves, and were making their way to run the errand that Caterina had put them to drop a package to a location where a trash can will be and where they will mark it. The two of them are now clothed in hoodies and medical masks and are getting ready to make the drop that Caterina set them to. They're on the fringes of the Flowwood domain, the ever disputed border of that domain, having homes that are all very samey, very uniform, easy to get lost in amongst the crowd when it comes to the different houses in this place. But you have gotten to a neighborhood in this particular domain. Now it's just a matter of going unseen to make your drop.
Oh, before they step out, Malice is going to activate Oblivion Sight.
And that allows you to see in the dark?
Yes.
I think I have a similar power. I mean, just take a moment to check. Sure enough, I have aspects. Suddenly, visible things become awfully clear to me. Sense the unseen.
Okay.
That would be the second thing Malice does.
Okay. So, Malice, I would like you to make a wits awareness. And Mercy, I would like you to make a wits obfuscate. Or wits aspects.
Awareness.
Just with aspects?
Yes, because that's your sense the unseen roll.
It's been sent.
Ooh. That is 4 successes.
Okay.
Thankfully, there are no more 10s, or that would be a bestial.
Thankfully, you're still in the car.
Yes.
Mercy, when you open your eyes to that which is unseen, you take a look around the drop point, and you don't see anything that would strike you as the unnoticed. You don't see any. There's hardly any people out this late at night, and if there are, they're clearly obvious to you. They're very few and far between the few moments that you've been watching this place. And Malice, the only thing that you catch is that there was a car that rolled up to one of the houses further down the road. And that's about it. Nothing out of the ordinary. At least for a neighborhood.
Malice will get out, make his way towards the trash can, package in hand, keeping an eye on where he just saw people pulling in, making sure nobody's trying to keep an eye on them.
I'll stay vigilant. Moment I catch wind of anything mildly unusual, I'm stiffening up. But for now, just playing it cool.
So, to kind of get a baseline of how cool you're keeping it, I would like both of you to make composure stealth.
Composure, you say?
Yes, composure stealth.
Oh, I don't know much about that stealth, but that composure is decent. You know what? I see no fault in this. I'm gonna rouse the blood.
Go for it.
Plonk.
Okay.
Woo!
That is 5 crit.
5 on a crit. Malice is silent as a ghost. Or blends in well enough that he's basically just an ordinary person parked on the side of the road. And the same goes for Mercy. You're not drawing attention to yourself. You're keeping it cool, even though you're clearly in the Flowwood domain now. You feel like you're blending in quite well enough. And so long as you're sitting in this car, you just look like two people sitting in a car.
All right. Well,
Like I
Coast is
said, Malice will take the bag and make his way towards the trash can.
That I'm going to call for a that I'm going to call for a dexterity stealth. You're not necessarily looking to looking to you're blending in still, but you're not like trying to like tiptoe or anything. You're just trying to make it look like you're just throwing something away.
That is 2 successes.
2 successes?
All I've got is dexterity.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It comes off a little clunky. It makes a bit of noise going into the garbage can. It's kind of a weighty noise too.
You did say there was pretty good heft to the package, so
Yeah.
as Malice turns to walk away, he will quickly mark an X, the Sharpie he took out of the ambulance. As he wasn't told where, doesn't believe it matters.
All
Miss
right.
T.
As long as there's an X somewhere.
I'm keeping my eye out. I'm under the presumption that this trash can is just kind of like conveniently in between some of these houses, correct?
It's kind of pulled out towards the curb for pickup.
Okay. Is there anyone in any of the houses that is staring at us?
That'll be a wits awareness on your part.
I'm gonna rouse that one as well.
Can I help with this?
You're also searching, so yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be an assist. It would be a separate roll for you, Malice.
Okay. You said that's wits awareness?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and willpower. What dice can I willpower? I can willpower any amount.
Mm-hmm.
I can willpower a 3.
Yep.
Oh, that's going to be 6
4.
for me on a crit.
Both of you, after hearing the noise, Malice, you search, you look around at the different houses around the area, and you and Mercy, your eyes land on a. It looks like a kid, blonde hair, kind of peeking out of a window, but is almost as soon as the curtain goes aside for a moment, the curtain closes.
Alice is as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs at this point. Not going to drop his guard until he's back in the ambulance and well away from this area.
And so, what do you do?
As casually as he walked up, quickly make the X on the can that Caterina told him.
Mm.
As casually as he walked up, make his way back towards the ambulance.
All right. You get into the ambulance. Do you drive off right away?
Malice will keep an eye on the surroundings, make sure nobody's following or coming up.
I'll hold on a second. Gotta check for flats. Mercy gets out of the vehicle again. She is checking specifically for any sort of tracking devices.
That would be a wits investigation.
We're really out here making a lot of rolls for probably just
Can I-
paranoia.
Can I assist Mercy with this?
Have you voiced your concern, Mercy?
I said I'm checking for flats.
Then you can check for flats too, Malice.
Investigation.
Or one of you can do that at a +1.
Well, I got a 1. I'll let Malice roll his own. It sounds like he has more dice.
That would be 5 on a crit.
He does have more dice.
There's nothing out of the ordinary searching the vehicle. However, you do see that that curtain get pulled aside one more time and then closed.
Is it still the little boy, or is this somebody new?
He's not little. Small maybe, but it looks like an adult.
Okay. It's the same face, not a new one?
Yep, same face.
Whispering to Malice. You think it's worth checking? These are seemingly the suburbs, so anyone could just be out looking. Just normal folk.
Malice will whisper back. I don't know what the fuck Caterina gave me to drop off, but I do think it would be worth watching. See who comes to pick it up.
We'll make a pass. Just one drive around, just in case.
Oh.
Sound good?
It doesn't look like anybody tagged us. And looks like the ambulance is all in working order. So, yeah.
All right. Make one pass around the block as if we're just looping back around, and then we'll go.
Honestly,
So
gonna keep an eye on that house the whole time as best he can.
I will assist with a +1, but Mercy's primary focus is just driving.
Okay. Then yeah, Malice, you would get a as you're kind of driving around, you you kind of circle the block. You you kind of get out of a line of sight from it for a moment. And as you kind of turn around to go back the other direction, you see a fairly short blonde-haired individual going towards that trash can.
Hmm. Hmm.
Pulls out the package, kind of inspects it, kind of looks around, and then starts heading back toward that house. Kind of quickly, now that he sees that your ambulance has turned around and come back down the road.
Does this individual look familiar? Have I seen them before, or is this somebody a new face to me?
Uh, how old is Malice again?
Uh, Malice is 14.
13. Okay. Then yeah, you'd be old enough to know that that's a intelligence politics.
Intelligence politics. All right. Ready. That is 7 on a crit.
God damn. So many crits today. You know exactly who that is. That is one of the Tremere that left with Joseph when the Anarchs, when the Tremere Chantry had the big schism in 2008. That's Urian Doyle.
Shit. Fuck has Caterina got us mixed up in? Why the fuck am I doing anything to help Joseph? Son of a bitch. Mercy will hear Malice say all of this. What the fuck is Caterina's got us mixed up in? How the fuck are we doing anything with Joseph?
Who's Joseph?
Part of the reason Magdalene got was coming to her.
Really?
Yeah.
That was her Anarch friend.
One of them. Mir that you heard about the whole hubbub with the entry pretty much floating on itself.
I did. A bit of it. Not enough
He
to
was
make it.
kind of one of the leaders leading the charge on that. That gentleman was one of the other Tremere that left with him. Urian Doyle. I don't know how he's mixed up in all of this, but I know he ties back to Joseph. And
So
a
what you're
little bit.
saying is, Caterina's walking the same streets as Magdalene. We just have to come to the assumption that that was well, those business negotiations aren't exactly over with for the Hecata.
Yeah, exactly. We have no proof that she's given any secrets. I have no fucking clue what was in that bag.
Is there any way to tell?
Other than breaking into the house to see what's in that bag, no. Not like we get x ray vision or anything.
No. But we know someone who's good at sneaking.
Yeah, but by the time we make it back and get them out here, that doesn't mean that what we're looking for is still going to be here.
That's why we wait for next time.
I certainly hope there ain't going to be no next time. Not if I'm having to deal with this and it actually ties back to Joseph. That's not going to be. That's not going to be a good day for anyone involved. See, that whole hubbub with Magdalene kind of put a target on my head with Joseph.
On you, but not me. Not me.
He don't know about you.
That's surprising. The rest of the whole damn Camarilla seems to know about me. But I suppose that's just it. It's just Camarilla.
He left. And I led the charge with the Tremere and the whole Chantry dissolution. Now half the Tremere left the Camarilla and joined the Anarchs. Well, kind of led that charge, and like I said, he don't know about you yet. Like to keep it that way.
In fact, given your politics role, Malice, you know whose sire Urian Doyle is, and you know that Urian Doyle was sired by Jacques Collin de Plancy, one of the demonologists in the
Oh.
Tremere.
Did he stay in the city with the Camarilla, or did he join Joseph and the rest?
No, he's still in the Chantry.
Okay. That might be somebody I need to talk to. Might give me some ideas of what's going on. Might not.
What do you suppose you could trade them for that information?
I have no clues. But at the moment, the only person I know might have any information outside of Caterina, and coming back to Caterina with this would just give her more information than she needs to right now about what the fuck we're doing. But Mr. Doyle's side is still with the Camarilla, so
Really?
he may have some knowledge.
Well, suppose that means we gotta make a bit of an appointment.
As far as what I can offer for a trade, I haven't the foggiest, sister. You got any ideas?
Maybe. Wonder if his sire happens to know where he's at. This. What was his name?
Urian Doyle.
Urian Doyle.
You have an address, at least of where he was last seen. Whether or not this is his house or his domain, well, that's beyond us at the moment. It would require more surveillance than I think we have time for tonight.
Yeah.
You do
We
realize
know
that it
where-
is getting pretty late.
Yeah,
We know
it's
where
going to be
he
business
is.
for
Mm.
yeah, but that's going to be business for another night because dawn will be approaching soon. It'd be best we head back to the hotel right now. See about if we can set up a meeting with Mr. Jacques.
All right. And Mercy continues driving, making sure to arrive at the hotel just before dawn.
Malice is constantly checking the rear view and surroundings, making sure they ain't being followed.
And so far as you can tell, you're not being followed. And so the rest of the coterie meets up at the hotel. Rodney and Liv having also come back from their errands during the rest of the day and getting settled in for the day sleep.
Yep.
So, all of the dig team, as it were, is collected together.
Mercy just heads straight to her room. She doesn't really know what much else to say. She does make an effort to greet everyone, especially Rodney, stopping by to give Charles a good little scratch under his neck and chin.
Charles
Uh,
accepts it, reluctantly, but he does. And Rodney just kind of gives you that big toothy grin of his.
Yeah, he's a cutie.
You can't have him.
Miss Mercy. Miss Mercy's giving Charles scritches. If Dana and Rodney there. Malice would ask, any of y'all happen to know how to get in touch with the Tremere in the name of Shot? What was the last?
Colin DePlancy.
On the Ponce.
Liv just kind of shakes her head and says, no.
More on politics.
Sorry, what, Derek?
4 on politics.
You don't know where the Chantry is, but you've heard of a bookstore that kind of serves as a sort of meeting place, and that it's run by a woman named Willow.
Well, don't you find yourself in the reeds?
Quite often, actually.
Might want to end up going, get yourself something to read. I would recommend that a particular bookstore. Ask for Willow.
Ah. That store as well.
give the address appropriate.
And you would know it as the Old Attic Antiques.
Old Attic Antiques.
Yeah. Kind of saw that coming. I was hoping to avoid that. Oh, okay.
Don't ask questions if you're not going to like the answer.
I was hoping there might be a more direct approach. No, they just
If
love to
everything
get
was
their hands.
direct... Sorry, go ahead.
I just know they would love to get their hands on some of my books, but probably some of Rodney's too.
Well, either way, that is a conversation between you two.
I do,
Anything
thank you.
else you need?
Probably, but I don't have a foggiest clue as to what that would be at the moment.
All right. Well, I have to appreciate that. And, well, we got a long night ahead of us.
Alice turns away and mumbles, "This whole situation seems to make as much sense as a fucking elevator in an outhouse."
What are you talking about?
Oh, I seem to be involved in something. I don't know what yet with fucking anarchs. I need to talk to Mr. Jacques.
Why would you be involved with anarchs?
It wasn't intentional.
I don't care if it was intentional or not. I'm asking, why are you involving yourself with anarchs?
My mother required this service of me, and I did not know that it involved any anarchs until... What time is it? 20 minutes ago? 30 minutes ago?
What exactly is this service entailing?
Monitor a spot in the flow wood and to make a drop to a particular area that I was supposed to be surveilling,
Malice, why in the fuck are you even saying anything?
because I need information, and if I'm gonna get information, I gotta give a little information to get some.
So you play all your cards. Alright.
I ain't playing all my cards.
You're playing
Never
most of
said
them.
that.
Well, ain't this just fun?
I also need to know. I need our friends to know what's coming. If anything's coming, they can watch their backs and ours.
Oh, don't worry, I've got your backs, Liv says as she's kind of looking through a kind of scope on a rifle.
Yeah, you just want to put a stake in one of us, anyways.
Whoever said that?
You implied as much the other night, Liv.
I don't know what you mean.
I'm sure you don't.
Is this just one of those cases where it's a family matter?
I believe it is a family matter. And I will be looking into the family.
All right. And what about you, Mercy? Worried about playing cards around me?
Worried about finding a better reason to be sitting 6 feet under. There's not really much point to it either way.
Trip poker might be a lot of fun with you.
Look, Miss Reen, I'm ready to hit the sack. I'd be more than happy to speak to you tomorrow about it.
It is about that time. Let's put a pin in this and take care of whatever needs taken care of tomorrow.
I'm just saying, if you need my assistance, you can always call me.
I may be taking you up on that, Liv. Don't know yet. I just know there's several conversations that need to be had before
Don't
any
suggest
action is taken at this moment.
Don't suggest that, Malice. She's suggesting assisted suicide. Please.
Mercy, as unpleasant as the idea is, it may be better than the shit that's coming for us. I'm sure that would be a whole lot more pleasant than being staked out for all to see, for the sun to rise. It'd be the last thing we ever saw.
Well, isn't that all just peachy keen? Till then, I think I will end up drifting away onto slumber and allow the head damnable Daystar to make its pass for the evening or for the day. Conclude ourselves at the greeting of the moon.
Yes, see you all at moonrise. And Liv packs up the rifle and goes to the room designated for her. Rodney kind of slinks off into a corner of his mess. And the three
I'll just take my leave then.
Have a pleasant day now.
and all of you find your respective homes in the little corners of the world that you find rest. And when you fall into day sleep, the morning comes, the morning goes, and early into the evening, the sun sets, and all of you rise once more. So I would like rouse checks.
Hell yeah.
Little bit of a gnawing sensation in your gut, Malice. That's your rouse check, Mercy.
That is indeed. I've been a lucky bean.
You have been a lucky bean. Your beast is quiet. This is probably the longest it's been quiet in quite some time.
Alright. We should probably call it tonight.
Oh,
Just so you know.
is the cutoff point like 1 a.m. Central then?
Not usually, but
Yeah, we usually
Sorry,
go to
Eric's
2.
fighting hard.
Derek's falling asleep. Not usually.
I'm sorry.
I'm running on like 3 hours, my guy. In
Okay.
48.
Yeah, like I
Okay.
said yesterday, I was up way too late. I pushed it too hard, and I had minimal caffeine today. Usually, I have a fair amount, but I'm sorry.
That's okay. We can call the session if we want to call it here.
Cool.
I think a good early night's gonna help.
Okay, then
Also, Mojo, just so you know, going into next game, Mercy is gonna like drag Malice for this. Just drag him.
But
I am so sorry.
Malice is going to be making his way to Mercy before he does anything else.
That was a dumb move! That will get us killed. Everyone else has leverage. You said you didn't trust these people.
okay, I'm making a personal note that Malice gave to
No.
Hunger because we don't have the roll on the roll 20.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Malice gained hunger. He's at 2 now.
okay,
Okay.
so I'm making just a personal note in the roll 20 chat for that. But with that being said, that concludes today's episode of War in the Soul City. Thank you all so much for coming by, and I want to shout out my brother Void.
Quick question:
What's
Are we going over experience first, or just doing like thanks?
No, we're gonna do experience and everything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like,
no,
the order is different. Wah!
I was just shouting out Void because he's also a streamer that you guys should all go check out because he occasionally does the video games. But aside from that, we're going to do experience as well here in a moment. But what do you guys think of the session so far?
I'm intrigued on what's going on with the buddy sticks.
The buddy sticks?
Oh boy.
STYX.
Uh-huh.
Very intrigued at this
Why?
of events, and
We
Alice
have.
has several conversations to have once they wake up.
I gotta find me Kyle. That's gonna be a fun little problem.
Did you not expect to run into and maybe interact briefly with some of the other NPCs from the previous
I think
show?
it was because I was like, and it was showing that my brain was getting tired and like mixing it up because for some reason it's like, oh, you haven't met the prince. No, I'm talking about Kyle Calhoun, and my brain went, Kyle, wait. Are we talking about the guy I'm about to throw into the blood? Yeah, that's where my brain.
Okay. I realized that my bot had been turned off. There we go. There's the shout out.
Oh no!
Oh, so yeah, I am not with the cool kids in the awake crowd right now.
It's okay. It made for a very decent interaction between yourself and Anastasia, and so she has put forth an interesting task for you to do for her in return for her kind of scoping out the Anarch domain in a closer fashion than Malice and Mercy maybe.
Well, like I said, it's supposed to work in combination with Rodney because they might not know what Rodney's up to.
Yeah.
Rodney doesn't know what they're up to because I haven't specified it was Rodney that was going in there. And so I might get more information, I might just get confirmation, or I might get conflicting pieces. But either way, that's useful.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, we are also going to do experience. So, the way everybody gets one, and also recover willpower if you have fulfilled a desire or part of your ambition.
I have not.
No, but I did sleep, so I'm good.
Yep. And you recover willpower at the start of a new night too, so because you guys are going to have a rest. So that's your resolve
I'm
or
gonna need to
composure.
feed though first thing.
Okay, I'm back to full willpower. I did complete my desire.
Yay!
There we go.
It's food.
Okay. And then I'm starting the poll now for the audience favorite, but we also do things interestingly like Derek does in his Chronicles, where we have the players decide who had the best scene, who moved our plot the furthest, and who had the best line out of the night. And then the audience obviously chooses their favorites, and that person gets a bonus as well. So, be sure to put in for the poll, everyone. And who moved our plot?
Malice.
I'll give it to Malice. I can settle in with that one.
Malice's token got moved. There we are.
Goodbye. Yeet
What
it.
now?
Yeet.
Yeet.
No, don't eat me. Alrighty.
Put those yeet emotes in the chat. Because we're yeeting experience at Malice. So, who had the best scene?
I'd give that to Mercy.
Explain.
I thought you said you didn't trust anybody.
Yeah, you got a point there.
And I might give it to you next week too, depending on how good you remount your brother.
Oh boy.
Mojo, again, forewarning.
Hey.
You will get a tongue lashing. You're gonna get a tongue lashing.
Well, I expected that to be part of this, but yes.
Yeah.
And not in a sexy Hikata way either.
Gross.
All in the family.
Gross.
Not the kind I want, but yay.
Hey, don't knock experience.
I'm not.
So are we unanimously giving it to Mercy?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right. You guys are on the same page, apparently. Who had the best line?
I gotta go with Dana. Eternity is too short to squander it.
No, I gotta give that one to Malice in this case. Specifically because of the amount of cringe I got. I think in the VOD you can see it. I don't trust any kindred. I'm like, yeah, that's good advice. That's a very good approach. Except Mercy. And there's the other.
And you said that to the dawn of all things.
That is literally what going on in his head. Yes, I don't trust any kindred. Except
the best part of that whole thing is like, I'm not even sure if the Dawn would be offended or it's like, smart kid. I don't trust any of you, especially you. Good, you're learning. You might not be a complete idiot. That makes you useful. Don't be too smart, though.
What do you think,
I guess
Spectre?
I think Mercy's slowly coming to the conclusion in her undead existence that she's just got to smack the lip off of Malice.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, maybe?
It's just stop talking! Please!
Well, you could always tear his tongue out.
regrow.
True.
Look, it's a kata. That's getting off light.
We'll see at Lower Humanities. Admittedly, probably most humanity.
Look, I've tried this soft speaking thing. It wasn't working out. I just went for what gets results.
She would.
Oh.
So who gets it?
Apparently, it's between me and Malice right now, so it comes down to Spectre's vote.
I'm gonna give it to Dana just because I like the energy of that statement.
Eternity is too
Also-
short to squander it.
Well, it's such an anarch term. Like, you know, it's like, fuck off this eternity thing. We know how this is going to end. I've been around long enough to know how this ends. It's not eternity. It's just it's not a promise of you'll live forever. It's the hope that you'll live forever, which makes it so much more painful on the fact that you are going to die, and the only way you're going to die is in a very fucking violent end. That is it.
Yep.
That is all you get.
Yep. Because the only way that a kindred can die is if they're murdered.
Alas.
Alas. So Dana, you get that one.
Hey!
I'm ready.
I think now is a good time.
Please put the audience poll is still going. So we have one vote each for the 3 players today. So far. Get your votes in, people.
Please vote. Please don't let this end in a tie.
We have bad luck with ties.
Well, not only that, Coffee did say last time that if y'all ended this in a tie, nobody was going to get it.
Cursed. We'll all be cursed. And we may potentially be cursed still.
It may be the audience's will.
Audience, why do you like to fuck us over? What the fuck?
We love you anyway, though.
We love you. Thank you for showing up.
We love you so
For
much.
coming to watch us.
Yes. Yes, and VODs will be on YouTube when probably tomorrow when this goes up. So, but before the audience poll finishes, is there any expenditures tonight?
I'm dependent on the audience poll.
Okay.
Let's see.
Not yet.
Could.
Oh man, I can't believe on how tired I am suddenly. Like I literally just got hit by the wall like maybe like half an hour ago. Just boom.
Just full on smacked in the face, yeah.
Oof. I might get back to you on a background, Coffee.
Okay.
But I don't know just yet.
Yeah.
I am thinking about it.
Okay. Yeah. Then if you're wanting to do that, then you can always just PM me or put it in the chat in the off week, and we can go from there. Dana's pulled ahead by getting an extra vote.
Hey!
Oh,
Yay! I'm gonna have to debate on it. I'll have to get back at you during the week.
Okay. That's perfectly
Whether or
fine.
not I'm gonna spend.
So what you guys think of the story so far?
I'm loving it. I did not expect to run into Yuri and Doyle at all tonight. I certainly didn't expect to run into Don Feeney tonight.
I just throw random people at you when I think it's appropriate.
I was happy meeting the Don. I'm like, look at this guy. I was waiting for him. Urian, I'm like, as soon as he showed up, I'm like, oh, this kid is gonna get fucking decimated in a couple seconds. This isn't
You know what the worst part is? We're operating on one very simple rule.
Some NPCs have
You ran into the one fucker with plot armor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of these
I know
NPCs
that.
do have plot armor, yes.
In all honesty, I did expect to run into it. It's not this fucking soon.
Yeah, but I think this is the one instance where it's like, I understand that, but also, what pushed Urian to the extent that he did? What pushed any of the Anarchs to the extent that they did?
Data,
Probably us.
you get the extra vote. You get that extra experience.
Hey! Okay, I got an XP expenditure.
Okay, what you spending it on, Ben Spender?
I'm going to spend all 3 of my experience to gain another specialty.
Ooh, what you specializing in?
Insight.
Mm.
And I think I'm going... I might change this a little later, but...
So long as it's not before
I'm looking...
like, so when it goes... When you actually
I'm going to
use
end
the
up using
specialty?
motivation.
Motives? Okay.
Yeah, motives.
Okay.
I want to be able to end up being able to size somebody up and understand exactly why they might be doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Sense
What drives them.
motives, that's a
Okay.
good one.
Yeah, sense motives is never a bad thing. That does
I
it.
am going to have to spend at least 3 right now.
Oh my goodness.
I've got to buy some stealth. Got none. Keep using stealth, and I ain't got none.
Well, you're practicing. You have all the reason to do so.
You have all the reason to buy it at this point.
Like I said, I typically take experience based off of what have I inherently been doing?
Maddie just raided us.
Oh no!
No,
Just as we're ending.
Maddie,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
We're ending about an hour early tonight because Derek has fallen asleep.
Derek is
Keep playing now.
Keep playing now.
Keep playing now. We would if we could find some way to keep Derek awake.
I am so sorry.
I love you. We appreciate your raid, Maddie, though. Dark Wolf. Maddie Dark Wolf.
Matty Wolf.
A woo morgs.
A woo morgs, yep. Arizona energy. Arizona tea energy. It's okay. We're gonna call it we're gonna call it early tonight, y'all. We appreciate the raid. Let's find somebody else we can raid, though. Kind of keep the raid train going.
Yeah.
I'll take suggestions from the chat if no one from my list is streaming at the moment. Choo choo. We could raid Desolate Fox. They're playing Monster Hunter. Give them some love. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Get your raid
Send
emotes. Get your raid emotes ready. Because we're gonna go raid a Desolate Fox. So, thank you all for joining us, everybody. We're gonna head off to the raid, and I hope you all will join us next time for more War in the Soul City next Wednesday. Until then, have a good night, everyone.